much. It's very much like the streamer awards, where it's just everybody giving participation trophies to their friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the Obama giving medal to self thing, basically.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Tippy? Give me just a second. I got to turn you down a bit.
Okie doke.
All right, I think that should be good. Alrighty, how you doing, Tipster?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing amazing, as always. So, just real quick. So you were, you got into a little bit of a beef with Boogie over all of this Gamergate 2.0 nonsense, right?
Yeah, I mean, I basically just kind of thought like his reasoning for joining Gamergate was kind of cringe. He basically cried about getting into a dispute at VidCon a few years ago with Anita Sarkeesian, and she was legitimately rude to him, to be fair. She treated him really badly at VidCon, but it came down to Anita Sarkeesian and the lefties were mean to me, so now I want to join the Gamergate crowd.
Oh, that's so pathetic. It sparked with this Anita Sarkeesian beef. So that was basically his Joker moment, you're saying?
I mean, it seems that way because like they did a panel at VidCon. It was like a bunch of people who were targets of like Gamergate and then like Boogie for some reason. And it was a panel on dealing with harassment on the internet. And so I guess that like they had like a last like 5-minute moment on like the panel, and like Boogie used it to kind of make a closing statement, and Anita like was pissed at him because she had more to say and she didn't get to say it because he used up the last allotment of time. So she was very rude to him behind the scenes, and I guess his whole take on that was, you know, I tried to pander to the anti-Gamergate crowd last time and it didn't work in my favor, so now I'm gonna side myself with the people who were literally like doxing and harassing them and shit. Like, it's very weird. It's very, very weird.
It's so stupid. He got so butthurt over it that he had to go and join a harassment campaign. And he's like saying in this video that like, oh yeah, no, I denounce any harassment that's going on. But then at the same time, it's like, you have to recognize these people at Sweet Baby Inc. have already been sent death threats. You know, like, this is not okay.
And here's the thing with like the Sweet Baby Inc. thing, right? Obviously, I don't give a shit about the consultancy work they do. Like, I don't care about like these crazy theories that they're like forcing wokeness into video games or whatever. None of that matters. And quite frankly, I don't give a shit if there's anything that they would consider, I say in air quotes, woke in games to begin with. I will say that like them using their like Twitter platforms to try and organize like a mass flagging campaign against the group, like that wasn't the best idea. We've seen in the past with Gamergate what happens to people who do that sort of thing. So like if someone is legitimately harassing you, just hit the report button and just keep it to yourself, because you're just gonna basically give these people fuel to harass you even more if you decide to use your platform to like, hey, you guys should all flag this for me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that you have a point there. I was saying that like, no, that person like deserves to be flagged. I don't know if you agree with me on that or not, but you know, like when they were basically when that person, what's his name again? I forget.
I'm not sure. I forget the name of the person who ran the. Oh yeah. My understanding, and keep in mind, like this is stuff that's coming from, you know, the Gamergate 2 crowd, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. My understanding is supposedly like there was like a forum, a Steam forum attached to like the curated group, and some people were using it to engage in targeted harassment, so they shut down the forum. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, like, good for them. Sure. I don't, as cringe as the curated group is, as long as it's not being used with the intent to like cause harassment campaigns, whatever, it can exist, and it can just exist in a cringy space on the internet. But the issue is that there are people who are using it as an excuse to harass people, and that's where it becomes like a huge issue.
Well, yeah, and also they were like they were trying to review bomb like these games is what I heard. So like they were posting these games in a list. It's like what Boogie was saying in the video. They were posting a list of games that are, you know, they are available on the original website. But this is like taking somebody put it very well in chat. They were like, this is on the level of like if you took somebody's nudes from their OnlyFans because their OnlyFans is like publicly available on their website, and you like showed it to their, like you showed it to everybody. You're just like, oh yeah, I know this is like, let's say it's a free OnlyFans picture or whatever, and you just like go posting it everywhere. Like, look at this naked picture of this person that is freely available on their own website that I'm now sharing in front of my whole audience who doesn't like this person, or I'm telling that they should not like this person. You know, like that's the level that we're working with here, and that kind of harassment does deserve to be stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if people are using it for that purpose, then that's not good. Review bombing does absolutely hurt game developers. Their games get, pushed further down in the rank for search and stuff like that. People do actually look at those reviews to decide whether they should purchase a game or not. So yeah, anybody who tries to act like review bombing isn't harmful, it absolutely is. I think one thing that was funny about Boogie's video is he tried to like make some cope about like, hey, this group of curated lists of games, this could be used not just for people who don't want to buy Sweet Baby Inc. games, but maybe somebody had a positive experience with a Sweet Baby Inc. game and they want to buy more. And it's like, come on. You know what the intention of this group is. Nobody's using this group so that they can go, oh, I like Sweet Baby Inc. the game, so I want to buy more of them. That's not the intention of it.
No, yeah, sure, buddy, sure. Yeah, we just got done, I think you were in chat, just got done watching his video on it. And then you made a response, which I believe is about 48 minutes long. And I would rather not like include all of that in this already extensively long video about Gamergate and Gamergate 2 Electric Boogaloo. Would you like to like summarize basically what you said about or to Boogie in the video?
Yeah, it's like I said before, essentially my criticism was like, it's kind of like dumb that like, I mean, if for whatever reason Boogie agreed with like the Gamergate 2 shit, like, okay, obviously I disagree with him. But if he just wanted to be like, yeah, I actually agree with this and I want to side with this because I agree with it, okay, that's fine. But the logic of like, well, last time I pandered to the anti-Gamergate crowd and that didn't work out so well for me. So now I'm going to, side with the people that are like riddled with like Nazis and like, people who harass women and stuff like that. Like, I'm going to join that crowd now because the other crowd wasn't so nice to me. It just kind of makes it seem like all the stuff he said in the past about this issue, it didn't mean shit. He was just pandering to the crowd he thought would benefit him the most. And now that it didn't pan out so well for him, now he's going to pander to the other crowd and, cross his fingers that it works out in his favor this time.
Do you think that this is perhaps a grab for more attention and clout? Because, his channel, for how big he is, like at 3.99 million subscribers, he's really not pulling the numbers that he should. And he's already like mentioned that, like during that interview that he did, that horrific interview, that like he has no work experience, he's got a felony on his record. Like he almost seems desperate for attention. What do you think about that?
Oh, I definitely think it's like an attempt to regain relevancy. I think he probably saw, how well these like anti-woke channels do. And he's like, hey, if I can grift over to that side and I can get some relevancy there, absolutely. Because his career is like on the dying end of things. And, I can acknowledge that my channel's not doing that great either. But at the end of the day, like my channel may not be doing well, but I'm not gonna compromise my principles to try and get some relevancy. Whereas that's exactly what Boogie's doing. He's not only doing this, but also like his only claim to fame at the moment is he's part of a podcast where he literally gets mocked for being a lolcow. So it's like, anything he can do to get some level of relevancy at this point.
Yeah, it's just pathetic. And I did repost the I made sure to repost the little clip of him in that interview because he's a pathetic man baby these days. That's all he is. And the fact that he's trying to go after you and try to turn it so that like you're the pathetic one or something, it's just very silly to me. I haven't watched his video on you yet, but it's only 8 minutes. I might watch it after I'm done, after we hang up.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is you can always tell when someone doesn't have an argument against the talking points you're making, because then they resort to either parroting bullshit about you or like tacking more lies onto it. Because like his response is like, well, you defended Vosh, which means you're defending really degenerate stuff. And it's like, well, no, I wasn't defending the content that was on Vosh's computer. I was defending Vosh in the sense that like, I don't think that stuff makes him, who people try to make him out to be. And then I also, he claimed that I go around harassing e-girls, which isn't true. And then on top of that, he tacked on like a new claim that apparently I go around sexually harassing trans women, which also isn't true. So you can always tell when you've struck a nerve with someone when they resort to literally parroting or making up lies about you. So, you know, I said what I had to say about him, and it just kind of is what it is.
That's ridiculous. I've seen, there was that one video I watched where I think you were there for that, about like they were trying to say that you're harassing girls or something, and like the worst that they showed, like taken out of context. Okay, like the absolute worst thing that I saw, if I may say it, was like there may have been one time where you accidentally got into the inbox of like an underage girl. Is that correct?
I don't believe. No, that doesn't ring a bell. I think
That
what you
doesn't ring a
might be
bell?
referring to.
Okay.
Well, tell me what you're referring to first. Maybe I can.
Yeah,
clarify.
my understanding was, okay, so there was like a time, well, oh yeah, no, I remember. You were in the inbox of somebody, and then you said that somebody that person knew was cute. And then that person responded
Right.
that person was 16 maybe. Is that correct?
Yeah, so essentially, like what happened is I had this friend that I used to talk with pretty regularly, and we had a falling out, and they ended up leaking a bunch of DMs out of context to make me look really bad. They tried to make it look like I was trying to flirt with them and stuff like that. And ultimately, what it was is we were just friends, and we were kind of goofing off in DMs with each other. It was nothing that deep. But one of the DMs
Yeah.
that came out was she had sent me a picture of someone doing her hair, and this was at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So I'm like, oh, who's your friend? They're kind of cute. And keep in mind in the picture, which I'm not going to show the picture because it's a minor, so I don't want to put a minor's picture out there. But you can't even see their face. Their face is covered by like their hand. So I just made like a joke comment of who's your friend? They look kind of cute. And she goes, whoa, she's 16. And I instantly, oh, my bad. I had no idea. My apologies. But of course, that part doesn't
Right.
get showed because it doesn't fit the narrative, right? So, but yeah, it was a stupid comment I made, and I can admit that it was a stupid comment I made, but like, is it an indicator that I'm like a pedophile or something? No, but that's what they want you to think, you know?
Man, I've always stuck by, listen, if you find interest in a girl and she turns out to be 16 or 17, guess what you do? You apologize and you walk away. That's it. Like, there's nothing more to it.
It's like one of those things where, you know, I forget what I was referring to, but recently on stream we were talking about a similar topic where the internet is so quick to jump to this person's a pedophile or a creep sort of thing, when like ignorance can be like the easiest explanation for what's going on. And I equated it to like, let's say you're in a public place like a mall or something like that, right? And you're a younger guy in your mid 20s and you see a girl you find attractive, you spark up a conversation with them. Hey, why don't we go on a date sometime? And they say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm 16 or I'm 17. And you instantly go, oh shit, my bad. I didn't know. I'm sorry. And you move on. Nobody
Yep.
would call that person in the real world a pedophile, but on the internet, you absolutely would call that person a pedophile. It's pretty insane.
It is very insane. It's gotten warped to the extent that people have actually forgotten the purpose of why we don't go after people who are underage, which is the fact that they cannot consent. Okay? It has nothing to do with how they look. It's the fact that they don't have the brain development yet to consent. Okay? So if you have somebody, like let's say that you have, you know, like a 16-year-old who looks like she could be 23 or 24. You know what happens? And then you go up to them not knowing their age, take an interest in them, and then you discover they're 16. That's the point at which you walk away, you know? And I know this is a tangent, but I feel like this is very important to point out. Like, if you get into the mindset that even just approach, like you should be able to tell that somebody is 16 or 17 just by looking at them or whatever, you forget the point that it's not about how they look. It's about the fact that they cannot consent. So once you find out that they're 16 or 17, that's when you walk away. And I feel like that's very important to point out and remember. But anyway,
I definitely agree with you on that because like it seems like, look, if somebody's being a predator and they're using their platform to prey on, you know, people, I'm 100% in favor of that person being outed in order to protect other people from becoming victimized by those people or targeted by them. But it's become this thing where it's no longer about actually trying to catch people who are genuinely predatory. Now it's become this tool of like, I don't like this person, or this person, I disagree with them for one reason or another. So now I'm going to like slander them as like a pedophile or present them as being somebody who's predatory so I can ruin their name and reputation. And I think it's really gross. And I think it invalidates people who are actual victims of that sort of thing. I think it really is a slap in the face to them.
Well, and it makes it harder to investigate real claims. You know, like
Right.
they are actively muddying the waters, and they probably are doing it knowingly as well. So it's just really gross. I agree with you. But getting back to this sweet baby thing. So that was your response to Boogie, and then Boogie basically responded with all that bullshit about you. And then I know that this thing came up about with stuttering Craig, and they're trying to like cash it, because I saw you repost this. They're trying to like cash in on this Gamergate shit. I'm gonna go over the video, but we can go over it together right now if you'd like. I can stream it and we can go over it if you want.
Sure, if you want to. Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because I was gonna go over it anyway, and since you're the one who retweeted it and brought it to my attention, I figure it's fitting. But yeah, I saw the price list that you had, and it's pretty ridiculous. So I want to take a look at it for myself and see what's going on.
Sure.
Become painfully clear over the last couple weeks is that the people who work in this industry and write about this industry that you love hate you. It's one big club,
Oh, yeah, totally.
and you are not in it. In fact, did you know that the Game Awards are voted on by those exact same people? I mean, look at this list. It's IGN and Polygon and Variety, for God's sakes. It's an elitist out.
Right off the bat, I just don't care. Like I've never cared. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about like the Game Awards. I don't think anybody really takes the Game Awards seriously anyway. At this point, it's just become like a marketing thing for like new and upcoming games and upcoming game related products, right? It's essentially like an online streamed version of E3. I don't think anybody actually watches for the awards anymore. They just watch for the game announcements.
It's at worst like self-masturbatory, but that's it.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's very much like the streamer awards, where it's just everybody giving participation trophies to their friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the Obama giving medal to self thing, basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll keep going.
Outdated system, and it's had way too much sway in the video game industry for way too long. I've been talking about
Another thing I want to point out, guess what would fix that? How about we move away from the capitalist framework of gaming in general? You know, like that's the main driver of this bullshit. If you want the truth of it, like it's the money game. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They'll never admit
Absolutely.
that though.
about video games online for almost 2 decades now, and been playing games like longer than that, but I have never seen the video game industry this toxic. It is time to get our voice back. Now, look, I'm not telling you I got this whole idea mapped out, because
That's
I don't.
right. We
I don't
white
even have a
male
name for
gamers.
this yet, but it's become painfully obvious that this is very much needed. Year
Can
after
you pause it
year,
right there?
over and over.
Yeah.
I think that's the interesting thing. I don't know if you caught that part, but he wants people to give him all this money, and he says he doesn't even have a game plan for how he's going to run this.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I thought he said he didn't have a name for it yet. My
Well,
bad.
that's maybe I'm jumping ahead, but yeah, he says he doesn't really have a game plan for exactly how this is going to be done, but he expects you guys to give him money anyway.
Yeah, here, let's pull up the price sheet, shall we? Since you brought it up. Excellent. Let's take a look. Become a member. Join and help take games back. Only $5 a month. That's 2 in one video. Damn, $13.37. Holy shit. What do you get? Suggest categories, nominate, vote, and you are listed as a sponsor of the future event.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like what's interesting is you have to pay at least a $60 fee, because this whole thing is like, you know, the voting at the actual Game Awards is done by like these organizations that don't even care about you as a gamer. So let's put the control in the hands of gamers again. But to even be able to vote on the games and the nominees and whatnot, you have to pay $60 just for that privilege.
Yeah, you're right. Wait,
because like if you look at the lower tiers are basically like, yo, just support or whatever. But like $60, you have to pay a minimum of $60 just to vote.
Who's actually supporting this? Do they have like a tracker of like who's supporting this or anything? Of course they don't.
It doesn't show anything. I would imagine they probably got some backers, but surprisingly, there's actually a lot of people really questioning this in the replies on Twitter. It seems like people are pretty pissed about the $60 buy-in just to vote.
Well, I can see your point, and I don't think you would ever do that. On the surface, this looks like a grift to get some cash. That's really
and that's
funny.
the problem with and keep in mind, obviously, like, I don't care about the fact that the original Gamergate went away. Good riddance, right? But that's the thing that really broke down the original Gamergate, is everybody started using it as a grift for trying to find ways that they could profit off of it. And then like the original people that sort of started the whole thing, that's where they're like, okay, I'm out, because you guys are just using this to make money. Stuttering Craig, like he couldn't help himself. He's instantly like jumping on like, yes, how could I make money off of this?
Yeah, I would I would be shocked if he's making like more than $100 a month. I would be shocked. And it's really funny because like this is the reason that Gamergate 2 is not going to pop off. Okay, the sequel cannot outdo the original. There are going to be some people here and there.
They're hopping on the grifting too soon. I mean, if you're this early in and you're already trying to like monetize it, like, yeah, it's not going to last. I've seen people who are former Gamergaters looking at this campaign right here, and they're just like, no, why? Why are you doing this?
It's going to be just like Megamind 2. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Again, after the Game Awards, people say there has to be a real award show for gamers. Well, let's do it. This is the first step to creating a club or a group where you decide the winners and losers.
As long as you pay $60.
A club where you get to decide the categories, the nominees for the categories, and of course, vote on them. And it'll all be done through an app where you can do it easily and securely. So is this club free? Nope, absolutely not. Why? As we've seen over the last few years, our hobby has been hijacked by activists looking to push their own agenda and literally push you out.
Wait, you mean like the majority population of gamers? That's crazy, man.
I will say one thing that's kind of clever is like he makes it's very obvious as it's kind of strategic to not use terms like woke that will instantly scare, you know, certain groups of people away. Like, oh no, I know what this is and I don't want to be associated with it. But he couldn't help himself but mention like, oh, you know, the industry is being taken over by activists, you know, and we need to stop that. So it's like, you still know exactly what they're referring to.
Well, yeah, anyone they don't like is a activist against them, right? It's just like anybody who's trans is suddenly a trans activist. Like these people just see like any opposition to any of their beliefs as an attack. It's so pathetic.
Yeah.
For that reason alone, there has to be a barrier of entry to be a part of this club. Hell yes, we're going to gatekeep. We should have been gatekeeping much longer. But here's my vision. With your support, we'll, number one, be able to make the app. And number two, be able to create a physical award show that you'll be able to attend, guess what? With the app serving as your ticket.
Yeah, give us the money first, guys. We promise the awards show will come later. Just give us the money first.
So they don't even have a game plan on how they plan to like really implement this. It's just like, this is our idea, give us money.
It's so pathetic.
My vision for this also has a board of directors to help oversee things, but there are strict rules to be involved with the board. 1, they're not allowed to vote. 2, they're not allowed to be on any press list or receive any free video games and or perks from any AAA publishers.
Now that I figured out that I have to pay $60 just to be able to vote, I'm really invested in what their rules are, right?
Right?
Like, yeah. Now, I'm going to keep watching this for sure, man. I'm going to for the content, but people have already stopped after figuring out they have to pay for this shit.
Yeah. And 3, and most importantly, they are not allowed to be employed by traditional gaming media.
What does that mean?
Hey man, I get it. Video games are a mess right now. The industry you love doesn't want you.
No, they're not.
And the traditional media hates you. And that's why it's time to take games back. So go to takegamesback.com and become a member and help grow this community and help regain our voice. It's now or never.
What do they mean video games are a mess? They can barely point at like specific trends and say, yeah, this video game was like, this trend is bad. And this is the trend that we need to fix. They can only look at like individual games like the Suicide Squad game, I guess, which was a flop, and be like, well, look, Sweet Baby worked on this. So that means Sweet Baby is ruining gaming. And it's like, no, they've worked on whatever it is, Ragnarok as well.
When you look at like the list of games that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked on, several of those games are extremely successful games. So like being able to point at one game that turned out to be bad, it's like, that's not enough evidence to show what you're claiming, which is that wokeness is what's ruining gaming. And I don't think that's the issue with the games industry. You kind of alluded to it earlier with like capitalism and whatnot. Right. It's this whole like microtransaction sort of getting every dollar they can out of you as a gamer. That's the real issues with gaming. It has nothing to do with wokeness.
Well, right. But they'll just never admit that. People can understand and comprehend that there is a problem. Microtransactions, huge problem in video games, you know? Or pay to win. The whole thing with Battlefront, what was it, Battlefront 2? Star Wars Battlefront 2? Like, that was abhorrent. and everyone knew it. But like for some reason, people are trying, like they're trying to focus in on these things that simply don't matter, that the vast majority of people don't care about, and say this is actually what's wrong with games. You know, it's almost like they're trying to distract from that. You know, from the fact that like no, capitalism is just gobbling up these gaming franchises and turning them into, you know, just money-making machines. And it sucks.
Even with like the Suicide Squad example, because I haven't played the game myself, but I talked to a few people I know who have played it, and I took a look at some reviews of the game, and it has nothing to do with wokeness that made it a bad game. What made it a bad game is apparently the gameplay is extremely repetitive and it's boring. So like it doesn't have to do with any like woke dialogue or anything like that. It's just a bad game, which happens sometimes.
Well, it's because Sweet Baby Gang was involved, right? Sweet Baby Inc. So I keep confusing.
I've made that mistake too. The Sweet Baby Gang. Yeah.
I'm almost just letting it happen. It's funny to me, so whatever. Which is funny because Matt Walsh actually did go over it, and I'm wondering if he said anything about. I mean, did you watch the Matt Walsh thing at all? Because I'm wondering if he said anything about like his Sweet Baby Gang about it.
Admittedly, I haven't watched his video. I did see that there was a clash between him and like the Geeks and Gamers dude. I forget his name at the moment, but like they had some disagreement over it. I don't know, but no, I haven't watched the Matt Walsh thing.
Okay, I was just wondering. I might go over it because now I'm finally caught up. It took hours, but I'm finally caught up on all this bullshit that doesn't matter. But it's good for the algorithm, so that's why I decided to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah. Like I said, my only criticism of Sweet Baby Inc. is that, like, okay, if you see people on the internet who are harassing you, just report it and move on. Doing the whole, like, mass flagging thing, it's only going to cause you more of a headache. These people are going to use it as justification to harass you even further. So just don't do it. We saw that exact same thing unfold the first time Gamergate came around, and it just didn't work out well. I'm obviously not saying just allow people to harass you, but if you're going to report something, just report it quietly and just move on with your day.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, there was a thing that I said in DMs with you about one person that I got into a bit of a thing with over the Voss drama, who will not be named here. And, you know, that shit went up to some higher level people in, let's just call it the Gamergate community, right? And the advice basically that I got from various sources was, I don't know if I told you about that, actually. Maybe I didn't. That was...
it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, sorry, that was somebody else. But anyway, I got into some drama with them. It reached somebody higher up in the Gamergate community, and they now know my name, and I don't like that at all. And so I was just like, hands off. I got some advice from some people, and they were like, just don't acknowledge it. Just block them on everything, and don't pay it any mind, because those people don't matter, first of all. And second of all, you're going to get yourself into a lot of shit if you try to start shit with them. So I think you're right. The best thing that Sweet Baby Inc. could have done is just ignored the drama and let it die off, just like everything else that these losers obsess over for like a month or two and then drop it. Like a month or two at best, really. They're just like the punching bag of the week, it seems, but they've made themselves the punching bag of the year, and they will continue to if they don't just like, you know, in some sense, like I don't know. It's tough because like something should be done about it, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to acknowledge it. You just got to do it quietly. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Ultimately, the internet's gonna do what the internet's gonna do. It's best to just kind of focus on your own shit and not give it too much attention.
Exactly. Well, Tipster, I think that's about it. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Your input has been invaluable today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. And it's nice that we finally got a chance to work on something together.
I know, right? That's crazy. It was a very sudden, what do you want to call it? Co-op, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Co-op mission. All right, man. Well, take it easy. And I don't know, with the shit going on with Boogie, I guess just, I don't know. I don't know what else to
I mean,
say.
I honestly... I said what I had to say about it. I'm not interested in having like a flame war back and forth. I said my piece. I'm moving on to other things.
There you go. They don't deserve the attention. All right. Take it easy, man. Thanks for coming on.
Take care.
Yep. Well, that was lovely. All right. I don't think that I'm going to watch the other Boogie video. I've decided just because I've pretty much gotten all that I need to. It's just about the Voss drama and about, yeah, it was a great collab. The Voss drama and, you know, the shit about his DMs, shit that we've already been through. Tipster's not a bad guy, and nothing that Boogie says is going to convince me that he is, so. But, I don't know. I guess that puts a cap on it, so there you have it. That's Gamergate and Gamergate 2 Electric Boogaloo, everybody. It's not as good as the original. The sequel will die off much faster, and in the meantime, all these shitters are going to do what they do, which is, you know, shit themselves, have a fit, maybe send some death threats and threats here and there, ruin people's lives, and just be miserable miserable people who have nothing better to do than hate on an organization that did nothing wrong. They did nothing wrong. I don't know. It's just pathetic.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.